Hi, my name's Jim, and I've been clean for 17 seconds.
Wow. Jim.
Well, that was just because I had to pick a name. I have a feeling this will
Not
be...
unlike this white bread music.
It's very white bread, but I have a feeling this will be therapeutic. This seems like the kind of game that it looks stupid, but then you'll be like weirdly zen.
Is that why...
You'll get into it
like,
and be like, I feel...
Is that why, like, the classic
That's why the
dad thing is to mow your lawn? Is it there's a bit of
maybe.
zen about it, I think?
Well, it's basically the Western man's zen garden, but...
Well, I've argued,
But I also think there's a reason why this is Well, this isn't popular. This was free on Epic Games, but there's like there's Power Washing Simulator, which became really popular recently for no reason other than because it's this kind of game. Where
See, the power washing one reminds me of a game that was made a long time ago by Nickelodeon, in which SpongeBob literally was the sponge, and you would wash cars.
That sounds very bizarre, and I'm glad I never played that. Oh! I didn't record the video. I'm going to keep that audio, though, so you'll be staring at just the freeze frame of this. I forgot that these...
kind of works, I feel like.
I forgot that these are separate. We don't have the quick keys anymore because when we're actually playing on the game, I can't have quick keys because otherwise we'd stop and start stuff. That's a cheap excuse.
Well,
I could just choose quick keys.
That was basically the freeze frame. Anyway,
this is all we've been looking at, so you haven't missed anything.
Although it's awfully tantalizing, I will...
No, something about it makes me feel guilty just for playing it.
What?
Now I'm paranoid.
I feel like I need to go to Harbor Freight.
You never need to go to Harbor Freight. What are you talking about? It's worse up. It's worse big.
Maybe Tractor Supply.
Okay, so we're actually in a career mode. We are, I thought this was going to be just a dumb game, like you just play.
And it is.
But it's actually, there's a plot. Like, we actually own a landscaping company. We're living the American dream. We're pulling ourselves up by our red mechanical bootstraps. I was going to call out a brand or something, but none of them are branded except whatever
Toro.
that says.
It's Toro, you...
That's what that says. That's very blurry. How do you read that?
Toro gang for lose.
Do we want to... Yeah, I guess... Whoa, boy, okay. We look like it. Oh, my. We actually... My name's T.
I feel like he does not look like he should be on a lawnmower. Wait, go back.
Where's T?
He looks like he should be an IT.
No, he kind of looks... he looks like he could work at Harbor Freight. How do I change my name?
I can tell you a bunch of useless facts about these tools that'll break in 2 seconds.
Well, I don't want to enter the company name. I want to enter my name. We look like... So here's what I'm getting. Our parents kicked us out because we chose not to go to college.
We mow lawns and
we mowed lawns in high school, but we didn't... Now it's the only thing we can fall back on. So what would an 18-year-old who's been kicked out, who probably smokes weed...
I gotta fall back.
What are we gonna... What would he call his lawnscaping company?
Lawnscaping?
Is it? Because I just realized lawnscaping's not the name.
I like that, lawnscaping.
Well, because lawnscaping, what did I do?
Okay.
We're going to calculate. I pulled up the calculator on accident. Did that screw something up?
No.
Now I'm paranoid. Because it's not called lawnscaping, is it? It's called...
No, it's landscaping, you weirdo.
So lawnscaping, that's perfect.
Lawnscaping.
I hate this logo, though.
And he probably thinks that's very clever. Look
he probably pulled it off
the slight smirk in his eye.
But how do I... Why does this still happen? Why is it just T?
Company
name T.
No, it's up there. It's...
Yeah, but why does it show that?
I don't know.
Company logo. Like, this looks like something he pulled off of, I don't know, Imager or whatever. All of these do, to be honest.
Yeah, but he needs something real cheesy. Like the triple leaf seems like...
No, that's...
There you go.
There you go. Well, edit player. Yes, please. Yes, because nothing... Player name. I don't know. I'm going to go with the T earlier, and our name is TJ.
TJ.
Oh, yes! Except... Oh. Okay. No, I want TJ back. This just looks...
I don't like all these racial tropes. I'm sorry.
Whoa. My name is Leonid. I come from Mother Russia. I work with hands
we
and...
can't roll on that same riff.
Well, this guy...
Russians would be like, are you kidding me? The same thing.
Except he's an immigrant. He knows the struggles of communism and chooses not to.
He's escaped them.
Yes, he's escaped and is now really fed up with all the 20-year-olds who are like, you don't know communism, friend. He looks, however...
I feel like his name would be Vin or something.
This guy or the other guy? This guy is looking... I don't know. I'm going to refrain from comment. Just, there you go. Then there's Sancho.
That looks like the classic dad that never got out of the high school phase. He's the type of dad that would be like,
this wasn't him.
Back in my day, yeah, it was.
Maybe his face looks really more square. Change hat. Well, it's got to be green, of course, except it's the wrong kind of green. It's neon paisley green. Because it was the only one he could find. We're already coming up with all sorts of stuff.
His earmuffs.
Nah, they're good. They're too good for him. Oh. Logo placement.
Put it on his belly.
I don't think I can. Back only, front and back. Sure. Uniform colors. No, they're fine. All right, TJ. Rent's due in 30 days. Let's
make that dosh.
Dosh. Yep. We've started a company. Test drive. I don't need a test drive. Vehicles to get cut.
You already know that we need a... what does that say?
Collector type. This vehicle is equipped with a collector type deck. It means as you cut, the grass clippings are sucked up into the... Yeah, that's how it happens, pal.
As you'll find out, we know nothing about yard equipment.
I have never lived in a house that needed a lawn to be...
And I plan on hiring people.
Wow.
Just kidding.
I hire underlings to take care of such things.
I'm teasing.
Oh, we have to actually... Okay, so we have to pay attention to which one we use, because it'll... As you cut it, grass clippings are discharged from the side.
Be careful of my begonias. My begonias!
Exactly! No, that's exactly... We have to be careful that grass doesn't pile up on flower beds. Mulcher type. Wow!
Mulchers are the ones that just just put it back into the earth.
You cut it, the grass clippings are cut into small, visible... No piles of grass clippings unless you overload the engine.
This is far more complex than I thought.
I'm not surprised because these kinds of simulators, I swear, are made by one Polish company. And they're all high fidelity, very accurate, super nitpicky, because again, this is the quintessential dad game. This is retired dads sit at home playing these things. The kinds of people
that play these games, other than us, who are playing them surely for
most people play them as a joke, especially streamers. That's why I think...
But I mean, is that the majority of their audience? Or is it...
No, the majority of their audience is probably the dedicated...
40-year-old dads that really wish they had great lawns and actually don't.
So, do we want to mulch? Do we want to bag? Bag seems annoying, because you'd have to always
That is true, and I actually have learned that in my own lawn.
But this one just shoots it out, and you have to be careful to not get it places you don't want.
How about what's that one?
This one mulches it.
See, I feel like that one would be the best.
My dad would very much disapprove, because he doesn't like when you just leave a carpet of shredded grass blades.
It actually helps the undergrass grow.
Because mulch it just turns into fertilizer after a while. It's like a compost bin, and then your yard's a sewer. This is what my dad would say, at least. This looks like the kind I bought. This looks like the kind of thing a kid would buy at Home Depot for $1,000 that he saved up.
That's true.
Oh, test drive. Do I need to test drive? I guess we'll give it a shot.
I'm just seeing.
I wanted to get into it
at the Home Depot. Can I drive this around the parking lot?
Come to the test drive. Okay. Well,
that's actually what's gonna happen.
See, this is
something way fancier than Home Depot. What does it say?
Lawn care equipment. See, this is way too much graphical integrity
why would they pay
for this.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in England. So, okay.
Cheerio, good fella. This just changed the entire...
That very much... Whoa, I can run quite startlingly fast.
TJ, you're in the wrong business. Buddy.
I can't get in, so apparently I am in the wrong business. I wasn't looking at the contextual prompt.
He's going to cut your grass while smoking grass.
Well, that's what
That's his motto.
That's what I was gonna go for.
Smoking grass, cutting grass.
Why would Z start the engine?
Can you go?
It says I have to hold it, but how long? A long time.
Wow.
That was long. Again, that was probably, they looked up this exact
I mean, it
model.
has been long, but...
They looked up this exact I and T. Oh, gosh. It's awful.
What do you mean I and T?
I have to press I and T to adjust the throttle setting. So I was expecting, like, plain old WASD controls. And it's like, slaps my hand. No.
You're not even going to be able to get off the back of the truck by the end of this game.
I don't know.
TJ's like, they told me running a business would be easy.
Cut lawns, they said. That's how Grandpa did it, they said. Use Z to engage and disengage. Well, okay, so that's cutting. That's not. I and T. I and T do nothing.
I was actually at a man's house the other day. Oh,
I can
you
spin.
learned how to turn.
But I can't.
Who was
throttle.
literally cutting his grass with one of those old school little scissor cutter types.
The ones that are automated rollers?
Yep.
Or, because I've
It was
actually.
an automated roller, and he actually was like, I love cutting my lawn this way, and it's great.
Okay, so I. Oh. Okay, so
I disagreed with him heavily because
T
he was
goes
leaving
up.
all kinds of stragglers.
It goes down. So T for throttle makes the up throttle. Ah, and that's how I move. Okay, drive to the grass. I get how that works. I went to lawn mowing school.
TJ.
Okay, this. What?
Okay.
Mouse can. Oh, there! It's inverted. I have to change this.
Take it to the grass.
I will suffer no inverted this.
Why is that the default always?
It's not always, but it seems to be two rival camps that can never get along.
Where's your camp?
Clearly not this. Where is it? Controls. This is awful. No, never. Wait, invert. It says it's inverted. It says it's not inverted, rather. It feels like it is.
Well, then change it, and maybe you.
Maybe I am an inverted. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I am a.
What to me inverted means if I'm moving up, I'm not going up. I'm going down. That's inverted.
I can't actually even think about it. I have to. Oh, I am. You know why? It's because of the fact that. No, you're right. Because I'm taking the camera down to do. Yeah. So apparently I am inverted. But
why is that?
Hang on.
Is there a
How do I get off of this? How do I get off?
You can link this to?
Well, no, because how do I get off? It was not inverted when I was walking. And I think the reasoning for that is when I'm piloting something, I think it's almost like I feel as if I feel like I'm controlling the camera, not the.
Yes, yeah.
So it's almost I feel like it should be reversed because I'm imagining a third person camera to be doing this.
That makes sense.
It doesn't really, but all right, cut. Yes, I know.
Get ready to cut.
Just let me do it.
I'm gonna.
This is too much.
Okay, do it.
Woohoo!
Okay, drive.
Is it?
Just drive.
It is. It does. Okay, it does look to be cutting.
You're going so fast. Can you throttle down slightly?
No.
I'm saying, are you able to? Not will you?
Yes, but I'm not going to right now.
I thought
Progress. I'm making none. This is a big lawn.
Wait. If you're making no progress, maybe you really aren't cutting anything. Go look back.
It looked like it was. You were cutting at the wrong height. Ha! That whole time I'm just barely trimming the tips of the grass. It looked like I was cutting. TJ, get out of the way. I don't think I could anything.
He's just standing there, looking at you like.
Wait, but how do I lower? Okay, E and C.
Hey, buddy.
Press. What does that even say? Press and hold a button. Do you read what that button is?
Q? Q? I would say Q.
That is a long time to hold. See, that's what's interesting. Because here's why. I expect that when I move my head up, I will look up. But when I'm doing third person, for some reason, I guess I do prefer the inverted. Because this is not inverted and I prefer it. But when you're on... Good heavens. I thought this would be a therapeutic game, and I was wrong. My gag at the beginning doesn't even make sense. Not that it made much sense to begin with, but...
Well, you certainly...
Well, because I was going for like a... Because I didn't even get the chance to explain why I went with that gag, because we made the comment... How did I turn it on again? Z for a very long time. That's like a full 5 seconds I have to hold that. T to throttle up. Now I can move.
That's the standard for Stiga. You gotta.
I bet
hold
you it
it by
is.
the 5 key or hold
the key for 5 seconds. Throttle up. Then you can cut.
the tips of the grass.
Use E and C to cut the change height, but I can't see what change height effect this is having.
How about you?
So just I'm going to press E. This is either making the cut go down or up.
It's going to be like a random spot in the middle. It's just balls.
See, I see tire tracks, but are they actually... Is it shorter there? I don't think it is. So I'm going to press C a bunch now and see if this goes cut down. I just imagine...
It will cut.
Engage blade. Oh, I forgot. There we go. That's
warning,
mighty short.
What? Warning. It's giving you a warning.
I'm overloading the engines probably because my cut's too high. So I press E a bunch. And now I'm cutting at the wrong height, which means I'm not cutting anything. I think.
You're cutting into the dirt.
So does E make it go too much or too low? Because I don't have a...
You're cutting at the wrong height. So what?
Cut height, 2.5 centimeters, 3.5, 3... Okay, so I'm going up by half a centimeter at a time. So so this is like basically not cutting, except I am. I am cutting.
I think it's off of the ground, dude. You're only
9 centimeters. I'm
half a centimeter from the ground. You're cutting it down to the seed.
But how low is it? Should it be?
Like maybe 2 inches.
Like if I go to 2, well then it was acting like I was overloading the engine. See? It doesn't tell me how much it should be. TJ. You really ought to know your stuff better than this. I'm just going to cut right in the middle.
You're not making Grandpa proud right now.
Grandpa would have...
Oh, you got an actual progress.
Hey! Cutting at the wrong height. Overloading the engine. Slow
Try
down.
it at like
Okay,
3.
I need to slow down the throttle. Okay, that was way too much. Okay, so the options are throttle on or throttle off. Did I turn it off?
There's no rabbit or turtle on this. It's just on or off.
Okay, so like the throttle either is on or it's off. Like I press T to turn it up and I spent I to go it down and it doesn't move when I do down.
There are gonna be people watching this like.
You mean people watching this video or people watching from the street?
Well, both.
Oh, this is awful.
Look at him fumble with that.
I can't believe it. He's driving it upside down. Okay, but it's not telling me I'm cutting at the wrong height.
Yeah, but you're not even cutting.
Well, but what am I doing then? I'm okay. I'm going to lower it. And I guess I'll lower it until progress happens. I'm at 3%. Okay, I've got the cut height. It's not engaged. I forgot to press C. Now I'm at the wrong cut height. Okay, now the percentage is going up, but I'm overloading the engines. Why am I overloading the engines?
Because you're still at the wrong cut height. Maybe you should try like 5 centimeters high. Like something real.
But see, now I'm at... I never know what freaking causes the engines to overload.
The bottom line is, whoever let this grass get this long in the first place should be horsewhipped.
Pro View, career mode. By holding a button you can't see while stationary, you can engage Pro View, which is the highlights areas of the grass.
I think it's control. I want to say it's control.
Well, it changed the camera somehow, but it didn't. Okay, so all that does is shunt me to this mode.
Shunt you.
So that wasn't it. Was it Alt? Was it Tab?
No, it was control.
Well, it's not control. Control just makes that happen. Was it escape? Normally that's a pause button, yeah. I mean, TJ's got to learn somehow, man. How am I overloading the engine so much? These engines are terrible. The problem is I can't, like... I just cut it again. So the throttle key makes no difference.
Engine condition. It's brand new and you've already put so much wear on that engine.
Wait. Don't. See, normally it stays stable while I'm going straight. And then it tends to
You're going to mow like one lawn and it's going to be like, yeah, you need to buy a new one.
Okay, so hang on. It seems to be holding relatively stable now.
But I don't feel like it's cutting anything.
That's because they're not engaged. Now they're engaged. And now
You're so stupid. At least it's not telling you you're overloading this time.
Well, because I think I'm not. I think I'm... And it's getting close. Oh, you know what it is? It's whenever I... Is it when I stop cutting? Because I noticed it did it when I went into this track I was just in. So the end... No, but see, now it's still... Does it only do that when I'm cutting an area that's already been cut, like the engines are spinning too fast because they've already cut that spot or something? No, because It doesn't make sense. I can't turn down the throttle without killing the engine. So help me if I have to like pump it so that it doesn't overload, and I have to just do this. I'm not doing that, I swear. Or is it a matter of cut height? See, now it says I'm cutting at the wrong height. And the engine still overloads.
But are you too high or too low?
Too high.
Cut height. Oh, there. It's right there. 6 centimeters.
But I'm still going to overload. Or am I not? It is. So apparently I can't hold throttle for more than several seconds. Are they seriously going to make me do that?
This mower is trash. Why
I should have bought a better... I bought it secondhand. I bought it off of Craigslist because I couldn't afford a better one. I said I got it at Home Depot. Well, that's just what I tell customers.
I actually got it from a back alley. It was by the dumpster. I got it from
a guy named Vinny. He gave me a good deal.
I didn't even buy it. It was just by the dumpster. I just pulled it away.
I'm not gonna do this the whole time.
Apparently you are.
Well, does it still cut when I go backwards? Because the engine's not overloading. I've beaten you, game! Slow and steady wins the race. I actually do feel better because now I can see the trail I'm leaving as well. I've found the perfect secret. Oh, except when trees happen. Okay. I have to reach the little line on the progress bar before they'll let me continue. I have no clue why, but that's what I have to... Does that just happen randomly? Am I just going to have to deal with that? This is far more involved. This is not the therapy I wanted. I thought I was getting therapy, and now I'm being shoved into a tray that I don't feel prepared for. This is an analogy for adulthood.
Welcome to blue collar, pal.
It's an analogy for adulthood.
You're not even cross-hatching.
I'm just making it so
You're supposed to put the tire on the other side of the place.
I'm waiting just till I get to the progress bar to the right spot because
you have the way that this lawn is going to grow is just beyond terrible.
See, I hate this.
It's going to start growing back. Some grass blades are going to be pointed towards the building. Others are going to be pointed up towards a tree.
See, look at this. It says use INT to change the vehicle's throttle settings. But the only 2 throttle settings are it's on or it's not. Because we're on the lowest setting right now and I cannot move. If I set it up to the highest setting, it goes all the way to the max. So, like, they tell me my engine's overloaded. I'd like to lower the throttle a little bit, but they won't let me.
I think it's a grass height issue.
Yeah, but it's not telling me I'm at the wrong height right now. And no matter what I do, if I hold it long enough, it will eventually start to overload, whether it's the grass height or not. Like, this is an unplowed patch, and it still freaks out occasionally. It's doing better now. It may also have something to do with going up hills and things. I don't know. It's doing better. It doesn't like when I take turns for some reason. I've noticed that much. But it's getting close. Is it seriously just a grass height? No, see, like that. Slow down or increase your height.
Okay, is that what it just said?
It said slow down or increase your height. Now, I don't have the option to to slow down, other than just to stop, which I don't want to do. So I guess I can... They did not map these very well. So I guess when it overloads, I just raise the cut height for a second, which will leave a really terrible patch.
I would start with the cut height at 8 and see...
Yeah, but then it was telling me it was wrong. Please leave the location. Get out of here. I was about to call him Brandon. I don't know why, but TJ. Get off, TJ. That's not you're terrible at this.
Just go to the customer. Yeah, I'm done.
Well, this isn't a customer. This was the tutorial. Use shift to sprint like a freaking madman.
This
dang
is
it.
what he does when he runs away from the job after he's gotten paid for this.
I just realized I can't leave it here. I have to... Wait, what? No, get on it, you fool. I just filled it for no reason. This is so complicated. Hold for 5 seconds. Throttle on. I feel like I'm learning to pilot a plane here. Okay, I have to park it back on the thing because I forgot that you don't want to go leaving your stuff at the job site. But anyways, the reason it's how long has it been? Like 15 minutes we'll be making
just
stuff
ranting about this.
I was gonna make up the reason I went with the weird. I don't even know what I was parodying at the front, but I was parodying something. Because we made the comment that this is supposed to be a therapeutic thing. But this isn't.
Not.
I expected like a nice therapeutic calm, like let's just sit and have a chat and not have to worry about whatever we've been worrying about for the past several indie games.
And
colonizing Mars and saving random village tribes from calamity. I don't know.
And Lawn Simulator said no.
Well, yeah, I was thinking, what a nice... Is this a... It is English, because we're on the wrong side of the car. I said wrong, England, because you are. I hate that. Okay, so hang on. Top speed, 5.5. That's what I want. I want a higher top speed. Or no, do I want a higher top speed, or do I just want... Because I don't think speed's the problem. I think
engine. Oh, it's a horsepower issue, probably. Go over there.
10 horsepower... No. They're all roughly the same. 10, 9.5, 9.9.
Quick size.
This is so nitty gritty. I was not expecting it because I made the therapy comment because I don't know. We've made that joke before because it is sort of like that, but this isn't.
This is what it feels like to actually get a job, kids.
Yeah, you think you'll be fine, you think you'll be steady, and then you realize that everything sucks.
And everything you learned in school is useless.
Well, I'm just going to go with something else. Wait, what? I have to purchase it. Well, no, I'm going to stick with you then. Wait, okay, so I just test drove it. I have to pick one of these. I'm picking... What's the most expensive one? 350... What?
We only have $350?
No, that's not... How much do we have?
Oh, that'll leave us with $350.
Okay, fine. Oh, we got a string trimmer. Is that what you call it? This is not the dream. This is a nightmare. Okay, so this is for cutting bits. I don't care about...
You gotta get the weird wide angle, that one. That's what saves your spine from misalignment.
Select... Oh, goodness me.
Otherwise, you'll end up like garden. Uncle Gary out there.
Complexity 1 star. I'm taking this.
I can't even flip my bratwurst.
Who is this you're talking about?
Uncle Gary.
Who's that?
He's a guy that used to work with you until he was using the old trimmers and his...
What on earth? Are you off on a bit or are you trying to say something meaningful? Contract set up.
I'm just saying, if you don't use the right trimmer... Your back's gonna get all jacked.
Okay, so I'm gonna... Oh, this is dreadful. Equipment. Yeah, just all the stuff that I have. This is literally it. Goodness me, this is complicated, man. This is what it's like owning a small business. Yeah, just let me do it. I need money, man. I need beer money. I gotta afford rent, and by that I mean beer money.
He's got a cardboard box.
I'll live in my truck. That's fine. I'll save money that way. Oh, man. Anyways, let's try to get back to therapy. What do you need to talk about this week? What's been going on in your life?
This week on lawn therapy.
You gotta at least get into the mic if you're gonna be weird. Attention, skip ground check. Are you... Wow. They're not going to let me start. Ooh, okay, this is a high profile. It's James Bond. I'm mowing lawns for James Bond. I hit the jackpot day one. Ground check. So they want me to actually inspect the ground.
Lay down.
Are
like
you
Tiger
freaking
Woods.
Serious?
Pick up objects.
So I'm going to clear.
No way.
I should have known this game would be this finicky.
You go and tell Mrs. Yalapapas this was not a part of the agreement.
What? Where on earth did you pull that name from? First of all, we're in England. Why are they Greek?
I don't know.
Mrs. Pippin Paddleopsicopoulos. What?
Well, I mean, look at the house.
Greek? This looks very British to me.
Well, I suppose.
So probably Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Neville and...
Neville.
I don't know. Neville and...
Beatrice.
Yeah, there you go.
Neville and Beatrice.
And, you know, sometimes their grandkids come down. Cecil and Warren.
Warren!
All right, I cleared your rocks.
And yet, your name is TJ? Okay.
So hang on.
What the British name actually
I didn't
is.
skip. No, we're an immigrant. We moved to bring.
No, we're an immigrant before I even got anything out.
Yes. I didn't skip the check. I checked the grounds. Oh, don't make me go over here, guys. Is this yours, Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Neville, where are you at? Well, they drive nice cars. Why do I... Theodore Jones. There you go. There's your name.
What? That's not an immigrant name at all.
Well, you wanted a British name. I was just going to stick with TJ.
How is that an immigrant?
It's
is
not.
it one of those, like,
we chose it because
Chinese immigrants that just ends up choosing one of those, like, fad new English names?
I'm not going to comment on that because you're going to make the CCP mad. But I was simply saying I want us to have an American stoner name because I think it's funnier. There we go. The ground check complete. Start cutting some grass. I could use that.
Hong Cho. Actually, my name is...
Don't make it worse.
I'm just saying.
Throttle up. Move forward. Pop into the Aston Martin.
The only problem is he is very white.
I said this was my point. I like the whitest of white bread names. Perform cutting will affect how much money... Right, I got it. Right. Careful driving, avoid damaging, and long cuts. Okay, quickly, time bonus. You know what? I'm gonna. Wait, hang on, I forgot.
Do you want your lawn service to be good, or do you want it to be fast?
Yeah, exactly.
What's that scale that is like?
It's fast.
It's quality,
and time, and cost.
Yeah.
I'm low cost because naturally, I'm just starting out, but I'm bang for the buck. Me, TJ.
You're just jerking around.
I am not.
You are. Look at him.
I'm starting with the perimeter. Hey. This is what they tell you this when you take your driving lessons. You're always making micro adjustments. These are just macro adjustments.
Those aren't even earmuffs. Those are just like headphones he's got on. AC/DC in there.
Nah, he's too white trash for that. He's listening to Nirvana. I said it, and I'm not taking it back. I'm cutting at the wrong height. Crap. Neville, what'd you want the height?
Neville! Why'd you put a flower there, Neville?
It was probably, what was her name?
Beatrice.
Beatrice, I'm sorry about the magnolias.
Oh, that was Beatrice. I'm just kidding.
Beatrice was gone. Well, hang on, I made a loop. I cut something. I'm just at the wrong height. I'm just doing a pass. I'm making sequential passes. Oh, I'm terrible at this.
You're still just...
Hang on, it's when I have to make turns. It's when I make turns that I struggle. On straightaways, I can do just fine. All right, so therapy. We all need some is the secret. I forgot. I had a thing I was going to talk about because it was something that I thought was relevant. And nothing's relevant anymore.
Other than grass. I want you to forget everything.
Because it's just the cheap way to get my hands on grass. Oh boy,
people have long grass.
This isn't taking too long though. We'll be out of here before too long, Mrs. Smith. I forgot the name again.
I feel like this is the whole.
Now I'm feeling a little bit more therapeutic now.
It's the classic argument that
why is my lawnmower
young
now
hires have of like, how fast can I go where I end up maximizing my hour per pay?
What are you talking about, young hires? That's the question of all business.
Yes, I'm just saying.
Okay, that was the first time it overloaded. See, it's doing better now that I'm on the job. So why is it?
The faster I go,
it's probably because I got the cut height right.
The better my margins improve of pay per hour.
Exactly. We're learning savvy business strategies here. What were you saying before that though? Before we got onto this gag?
Nothing of substance.
I thought you were about to say something meaningful.
No.
All right, I'm starting to feel slightly more therapeutic now that the engine's not overloading and I know how to work it for the most part. I don't know. I want to talk about your mother. How was your relationship growing up? Are you distant or are you
Why do you think I'm on the back of this mower?
They kicked me out, man. I told them I didn't want to go to college.
They told me to start listening to something more better than Nirvana. I told them never.
I told them there's no such thing. Anyways. I had a topic. It'll slowly come back to me. Why don't you fill us in? You had plenty from last week, didn't you? You've had topics like all the time.
I was Yeah, I mean...
I'm starting to feel the zen. It's coming back in waves. It's waves upon the shore. Crashing on my brow.
I'm not... Hats.
I'm
Let's
feeling
talk
on the
about
spot.
that.
I saw though that you wrote that down because I actually have the answer to the question you wrote. You can blame JFK.
Wow.
You can.
Okay, what was the question I wrote down? Because I remember I wanted to talk about hats, but I don't remember anything about JFK.
You said hats and why. It was like why something like why we stopped wearing hats as a cultural thing, and it was JFK.
Okay.
I like how you just accepted that.
Well, no, I mean, I know that a lot of people argue that it was JFK.
Well, because he famously didn't... Because up until then, it was still very much the hat as, like, you're not fully dressed without a hat. And from what I understand, he and Jackie were both very... Because she was actually famous before they were married.
Yeah, but I mean...
So they were both very sort of fashion forward, and he, I guess, don't know if it was for personal reasons or if he just chose because he wanted to be different.
Had a full head of hair and
he
wanted
didn't
to show it off.
Maybe. He was, I mean, he was the youngest president to have ever served, so maybe he was just being hip. So, I don't know. And then for some reason, because they were like the celebrity couple of their day,
only in
people
the
were
US,
like, oh,
though.
he doesn't...
I mean,
well... You got a point there. I don't know why it changed overseas, unless it was in imitation of the U.S. That's possible. I'm entering Zen mode now. I'm feeling much better. These rows are relatively tidy. I've gotten into a habit. I'm doing all right.
I feel like this is more like actual lawn mowing than I expected it to be.
I knew it would be.
It's just like,
oh, I don't want to kill the hydrangeas.
Begonias.
No, my rows are messed up. Okay, hang on. I'm back. We're cool. But why did you care about the hat topic? Because I just knew that was the answer to that specific question.
I'm gathering more and more hats, and I'm finding that I'm going to just go ahead
gathering hats. I have started... I think I just have a strange head.
What?
I have never been able to find hats that I was like... I used to have several as a kid before I knew much about fashion.
What you need to do is wear the hat that Alfie wears.
Alfie in Peaky Blinders? Because that's the kind of hat... That's the only kind of hat that I still look at and think, I still want to give that a try. It's the sort of flat-brimmed, for those who aren't aware. It's the very traditional flat-brimmed, not quite a cowboy hat, but a little bit of like a outlaw hat. I don't know why that distinction needs to be made, but that's the way I've often seen it. Now, what do we do in this circumstance?
I feel like you go around...
Do I go around it the other way? Because I don't think I'm...
circle. So you go forward.
Yeah, I should have done this first, actually. Well, no, hang on, because it's not even on this side. I have to even it up on this side first. Then I'll just go around in a circle.
Right.
I have to maintain...
So this one you are close to.
I'll just do it now, real quick. Don't kill the hydrangeas. Oh, I love the fact that the radius of this mower is perfect for this bed. Beatrice, you did excellent. You knew exactly the radius my mower could handle, and you made my life easier. Yeah, I like that kind of... It's flat crown, flat brim... And I don't know why I like it. Maybe it's because it's a very anime hat. It's the kind of hat that Alucard wears in Helsing. It's like the wide brim, but flat top. Because I find that various crown shapes, I'm just like, too much.
You think it's the crown shape?
Well, that's...
That
well, that maybe. I think
me.
I also have a large head. I don't... So I think that maybe means that certain brim widths... I'm gonna do it now. Affect... This one, okay, you didn't do as well with this one, Beatrice. I don't know why I'm calling you by your first name. Well, you're my client.
Why are you on first name basis with Beatrice?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
What was it, Neville? He comes out, he's like...
Neville and Beatrice.
He's like, why do you...
Why, mate? Don't be using my wife's name directly like that. I don't take kindly to it. Oh, that, maybe it's, I don't know.
No, it's Mrs. Smith you don't be sort of...
I think it's just because we're a dumb American kid and we have no concept of etiquette.
Beatrice!
I'm still choosing that we're an American stoner and just somehow in England.
Can I get some lemonade out here, Beatrice?
Wow. I am definitely feeling this now, though. We've got a nice, nice rhythm.
The reason I'm thinking, not necessarily, it has nothing to do with me on a cultural level trying to be some sort of a
what would be wrong with that?
Influencer in that regard.
What would be wrong with that, though?
Well,
can't have that. Can't have that. Patch a pish posh. No. Get that out of there.
as much as it is just I'm finding that for a long time, Hats and I did not agree.
Well, see, you're just having the opposite arc, because I liked them and then found out just sort of as I grew up, I'm like, I don't look good in most of these.
Whereas I thought for the longest time,
I'll clear
not unfairly, when I used to wear baseball caps, especially because I did not have a beard before, for those of you that don't know, I now have a very glorious beard.
Picture it. What hunky bod do you think lies behind these voices? None is the answer.
But,
all right. Can you back up a little more?
I always thought you were a bunch of fat middle-aged men in your mom's basements.
Hey, that's a half-truth.
Wow!
All right. I don't know if you should make a habit of mowing the lawn in reverse. It seems bad, but I guess it worked.
But either way, I now can wear, and oftentimes I do, wear cap. Like just a standard like baseball cap type, or some people call them trucker hats. I don't.
They're different.
The distinction is
the
a
trucker
little.
hat's got the mesh on the back.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a fairly thin distinction.
And they're not. Do they normally also have the flat bill? Normally, baseball caps have a slight curve to the bill.
Yeah. Either way, I find that now
I'm going to get into landscaping.
The standard expectation is that anytime you're in some sort of a specific trade, that most of the time, in the same way that TJ is wearing his sporty little yellow.
Well, it makes sense when you're working outside. You see construction guys wearing hats a lot too.
Right. But
if you are outside in the sun, it does actually serve a practical purpose.
So I then wanted to mention that for the longest time I was obsessed with bowlers, and this was even before I thought.
Well, I'm messing this up. Sorry. No.
This was.
I won't talk to your wife. I'll talk to you.
This was before I even thought that I could really pull hats off.
There we go.
But I've always had an interesting obsession with bowlers. I find that
that's because you're secretly a supervillain.
What? Like I just find that they're they've got an interesting history as far as they used to be essentially the working man's hat, because a top hat wasn't useful for farm hands essentially and it was certainly not practical. And so if you've done any sort of kind of poking around about the history of it, essentially it came about by saying, well, we want something that's going to stay on people's heads better when they're working, but they still want to be covered and look at least somewhat presentable and
the flat
decent.
Cap was the same thing.
Yeah, but
the flat cap has been sadly mutilated these days. I found one today at the mall, and it just looked like this belongs on a golf course. This doesn't belong in a factory. They've undergone a bizarre change that has totally emasculated them.
What?
Flat caps. Because they've come back, but they've come back in a strange hipster way that I don't like.
Almost like a Happy Gilmore kind of a.
Sure, I'm not familiar with that reference, but
the golf. It's
okay. I was gonna say they look very golfy.
Yeah,
and I'm not a fan.
But
do a UB here.
I do think that that's kind of my thought, and I recently acquired a bowler, and now I have it, and it's great.
We did it. It's done.
I also, so you and I were talking about not to jump ship or tracks too much, but you and I were talking about the fact that within shoe making or quality shoe making, there's only been now a couple companies that have really survived the test of time as far as custom or crafted shoes, specifically boots. As I began purchasing more quality hats, or at least acquiring them, why
make that distinction?
I'm just,
some of them I've been stealing, I admit.
I found that there are only a few that.
Well, that's really true of just about any industry. There's only a few great stuff at the top.
True, but I mean, there's actually within hats, and I think again we've made the comment with boots as well, that there's actually only a few, like, period. It's not just at the top.
Ground damage. Why have I?
What?
How? Turning your vehicle at full lock for extended periods of time.
So okay?
Did I do that just now? Did I do it because I turned too hard on a pace that I had already plowed? I wondered that.
No, they're saying because you kept it turned. Like if you make donuts in their yard, it's gonna.
But I didn't do a full donut. It was like half a donut. I had to turn around to get back on course. Neville, I feel you're being unfair. I missed a patch there.
But anyway, I found
What do you
that there were a couple
You want me
that
to do
were
this? 11-point turn for you, Neville.
They're somewhat related. Like I have a Bailey's hat, which is the bowler that I have.
A nice Irish cream hat.
Well, it's Bailey's of Hollywood or something of that nature. And then a resistol, but
that sounds like a piece of hardware.
Well, resistol.
Resistol. It's like flex tape.
Well, it's a bit. I mean, that one.
I'm only at 86%.
To me,
I think it's because
is,
my first pass around the edges was I was a little too timid.
Resistol is a little bit more.
Don't want to damage the bushes.
Like the modern Stetson, I would argue.
Well, Stetson's still around. You're arguing Stetson's not modern?
No, it's not. But Bailey's actually. I'm saying. I'm not suggesting that. What I'm saying. So Bailey's is actually.
all the cowboys.
Bailey's is actually a subsidiary of.
Oh right, I forgot I have the trimmer.
So
I should be using the trimmer for this, not
in the same way that in the watch world / in other probably industries, as you've already pointed out, that there's really only a few bigger names at the top that are more than likely just the smaller people at the bottom are just conglomerates of that larger.
Sadly, that happens nowadays too.
And it is tragic. That's happening now within broadcast, and it's really a
now.
Well, I mean, it's been happening over.
It happened like years, 50 years ago.
Sure. But yeah, I think that hats are great, and I'm going to start wearing them more often. But I don't know that I have any sort of expertise on them yet. I just think the overall kind of notion that we should wear hats. It's right there. It's between the.
I know. I'm probably going to take the trimmer out for that, because I also know that I didn't do a great job on these first. All right, so I can disengage the clippers. I've done the whole lawn. Looks all right. I just got to get. I don't know how to get the trimmers though. I have to get off first.
Have to go back and.
Do I have to go? Am I actually gonna have to go over to the truck and be like, well, no, I'm gonna leave it here because there might be a patch. I guess I was gonna say there might be a patch I missed, but if I did, I'll just get it with the clippers. And now I gotta hold Z for 5 seconds. Turn throttle on.
Is this gonna be like The Sims, where the guy comes out and starts yelling at you and like moving his hands? Is that what The Sims sound like?
I don't know. They make up. They don't have language.
What is it called again?
Simlish usually. There you go. Pick that up. Use the trimmer. Pick it up. Yeah, I know.
So yeah.
How am I? What biomechanism am I using to hold this? Those are the handles, and my hands are not on them. I've got it tucked neatly between my thighs. Okay. Oh boy, the realism just took a hit. Do you hear that, listeners? That's the sound of realism leaving. It sounds like I'm cutting stone. What is... And what is this weird halo that happens? The truth is, this is a cyber thing. It uses a pulse of light. Alright, the realism's taking a hit, so, oh gosh, are these just tire tracks I'm seeing, or is that uneven grass?
I think it's
I don't want to use that over there. Alright, so just in here then, eh? There you go, that's good. That's nice. I'm up to 96. This is the worst sound effect ever. I'm sorry, guys, but you did great with the lawnmowers. This really could use a help. Anyways, I don't know that I have a strong opinion. I wish I just could find ones that look better on me.
Well, you and I were talking about I'm up
to 96. I'm only still at 96.
Especially within the
probably all these
blue-collar jobs, how... It used to be that even in blue-collar jobs, there were people that actually had decent clothing that they still looked at least like they were put together and had, slacks and a button-up on and some sort of vest and things like that. And I was going, the modern equivalent of that, I would argue, has become the baseball cap and the polo, which I'm like, okay... Yeah, but it's kind of tragic. It is.
Because I think it's just a general, it's viewed as like it's a stuffy old world kind of mentality. And it's like, well, but maybe it wasn't strictly just deserving of being gotten rid of.
Well, I think that that's true of a great many things, though. Like, so earlier today, you had mentioned we were talking about
still only in '96
on an economic level, the idea that there are certain things that have to be brought back by people actually putting their, again, without using or at the risk of sounding cliche, but using the kind of axiom that you have to put your money where your mouth is. The concept that if you, back in the day when there was tailors on every street corner, there was an easier way of getting suits, and
I can get fairly close to these without damaging them. I don't need to be quite as skittish.
Whereas now, you can't do that. Like, almost everything's manufactured now. Like, I wonder whether...
Oh, what was this patch? That's probably where all of it was.
I wonder whether I don't say this to say, like, somehow disparaging of the Industrial Revolution, but I think...
I wonder whether... Because even in, like, the 50s, this was still the case.
Right.
It's so that's really mass manufacturing rather than...
It's mass manufacturing. I would argue it's also globalization to a degree.
Well, those two go hand in hand, of course.
Right.
We're up to 97.
Because the reality is it's less of a, hey, I have to get things locally now, and so not only does local business suffer for it, and i.e. then small business suffers for it, but then bigger companies get bigger. This is starting to sound a little bit like I hate the 1%, which I really don't. In fact, our argument was that...
Well, if there's a way that the political divisions of the country could be solved, it is in this issue.
In in economics, you think?
Yeah, because we're not... I mean, we've given last week, we're certainly not pro-communists. But there is something to be said, like the one area, I suppose, that you could really agree is in the sort of local... Buy local, support local business, local manufacturing, local goods. Care about your own community. Don't try to fix the world at large.
Well, I think if you just get back to that, and we've talked about that within even
politics we're up at 98
as a whole, where it's like if you start focusing on your own community politics, that's really how you begin.
Well, yeah, and you do that. Everyone else does their community. You end up fixing the whole thing anyways.
Right. Exactly. In the same way that you mow a lawn with one patch at a time.
Well, that was a great segue there. I wanted to talk about something totally different.
Okay.
So let's change the subject.
I got a brilliant idea.
We transitioned from hats to political economic theory, which is quite the leap to make, and I think we deserve a trophy for it. But I was going to talk about something totally... I've remembered it now that it was something I was thinking about earlier this week, because something happened that I thought was quite interesting. I don't know where to go in this yard anymore. I feel like I'm just walking over every inch hoping I catch something. Should I start small and then develop into the full thing, or should I start at the outside and work my way in? I think I'll start outside and work in.
With the lawn or with the topic?
Well, that's what we did with the lawn. We started outside and worked in, so that's what I'm going to do with the topic. I didn't hurt whatever that is, Mrs. Smith. I keep forgetting their names. I'm at 90. Okay, come on, guys. You guys hiding some grass I don't know about?
Part of it is the stuff I have to put out. It's in my mouth.
What?
I'm saying he's smoking some.
Oh, I thought you were saying he was got a dip in or something. He doesn't know how tobacco works. He just puts grass in his cheeks.
That's gross.
Well, so is chewing tobacco.
Sure, but...
I'm just going to walk around your guys' lawn. I probably missed something when I did these beds. Well, I didn't hurt it. I don't think. It didn't say I heard it. But it happened interestingly because the broad scale, going out and working in, as I said, we talked about when we watched Doctor Strange. And it was an interesting experience.
The multiverse
the newest
crap?
one, yeah. And it wasn't very good. Neither of us liked it. But... I mean, you know this. Little do the people know that was actually my attempt at a birthday gift, because it was something we had discussed and it came out on your birthday.
Yeah,
and this is what occurred
it was
to me.
Fun. It was just.
And this is what occurred to me, is that I forget what interaction I had with someone that made me realize that this was a thing that some people have, but. It was like I tried something new and it ended up being not great, and then it was sort of like, that let the mood down, and I was like, I didn't feel that at all with this experience, because I forget what the other context in which that did, the other person was talking about how that happened. And I'm just like, because again, I feel like the thing where we have similar personalities is in the fact that, like, it was an experiential attempt. It was like we tried something and it wasn't great, but it was the actual, like, doing it that made it interesting.
Right.
So, like, there was I didn't have to walk away being like, oh, I'm sorry that it was a crappy movie, and now I feel like I owe you a better present.
No, but I mean,
because it was still an enjoyable experience, even though the movie wasn't the actual. Because I think we're both. It's the analytical side of us.
Yeah, we enjoy being
the
critics.
Like being
Yeah.
And that was so. I just think that's a. I guess I forget. I wish I'd remembered what prompted me to think this, because it was something that I had another interaction with a different person. I can't remember. I'm waiting for 1.3%.
Well, I think it depends on how you go into specific.
Well, exactly, and I guess that's what made me realize that some people, I guess, don't think that way about stuff that they try.
I don't
understand
like,
people that try it, and then if it's not good, then I don't like it.
It's almost like they have to not admit that it wasn't good, because otherwise it ruins it. I'm like, no,
I don't, and that's where I guess I just realized that that's not how everyone works. But this is what leads me to the minor scale. Something happened this week, or I guess it was last week, but I came across. I'm going to zoom across the yard. I came across another metal band on YouTube, recommended out of nowhere. Ooh. And apparently you know exactly how that sometimes goes, because I've shown you some of them before.
I actually have one too that I wanted to show
you. Well, there you go, perfect. But what happened was I clicked on it because I was like, hey, it's another thing. I do this sometimes because I'm always open to new musical experience. And when I watched it, I realized, oh wait, this was posted 2 days ago. Oh wait, this band has 75 subscribers, and it was literally the first album of this weird new German metal band. And I listened to it like 2 days after it was released. I'm like, this is awesome. And
so you're like on the ground level.
I was like, I'm as close to a new thing being released as I ever could be. And here's the thing. I didn't end up liking them all that much. But I'm still kind of enthused by the experience, because I was like, I want more of that to happen. Because sometimes maybe I will like them and I'll be like, I was with them from the very first album. So I wasn't disappointed at all by the fact, and it's not because they were bad. I want to remember it was Ponthievin, Ponthievен, I believe. I'll still recommend people check them out because they weren't bad. It's just they were a little bit on the death metal side, very chuggy and constant screaming.
Right, and
I'm a little more into the heavy. I'm a little more into either the power or the heavy metal myself. But hey, if you're into death metal, give them a check out because they were certainly cool. But still, I was not at all disappointed by not finding them like, oh, this is my new favorite band. Because I was just excited that happened. I was like, hey, I'm totally cool to be shown brand spanking new stuff. Because sometimes I will like it. And I guess that's a part of the same thing where it's like, I guess it's just, I think it comes down to the openness we talked about into the psychological breakdown we did for that one.
Well, yeah, within the big
it's five. It's like, why not? See, this looks terrible to me. Why does this look better?
It does look like crap.
Maybe it's just because I learned, but this looks awful.
Because you were backing your tires backwards.
Maybe it's because maybe this is also where I've got literally 1.1% left, and it was probably in some of these weird turns I had to make. This is the point of the game where this starts to get frustrating, because I'm so close to the end. You should just knock
on his door and say, "Yeah, I'm done."
Wait, but there was. Dang it! What was that button? Now I'm forgetting. There was the button that reveals what's left. This is exactly what that's for. What was it? No.
The band that I'm thinking of is actually
Yes, tell me. I'm excited.
Sidebar.
Is that the name?
No. Sidebar. I think that we both on a fundamental level, or at least in upbringing, come from a conservative Judeo-Christian backgrounds, and so I find that most of the time, Christian subculture on things is trash.
This
Christian,
is a new. I wasn't expecting it to go to this.
Well, I'm just saying Christians tend to take things and go, we're going to make our own version of it, and it's just mediocre at best. But
not always.
Not always. And this is a band that I think you would appreciate. It's a Christian metal band of all things, but it does not sound like it's Christian at all. Not in that the lyrics are off or anything like that, but in that it doesn't have that kind of, we have to have our own thing kind of feel.
Well, sometimes I think they try to try to mimic it without actually grasping the root of it.
Right, exactly.
Because they're trying to... sometimes I feel like there's a slight sterilization. Not always.
Right. And
Okay,
this
I
does
can't
not have
find the
that. It's a
button.
band literally called GFM, and it stands for Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh.
That's quite strange. Okay.
I know, but it is 3 women, and it's fantastic.
That's very bizarre, but okay.
And
I've told you, I've expressed before the fact that well, it's not necessarily all female, but female-led metal bands pique my attention. I don't know if that's because I'm a dude or if because of something else. It's because I'm a dude. But I'm always like, to give myself the benefit of the doubt, I think it's partially just it's like, that's unusual. A sort of novelty aspect. What? Finally! It was this one corner. It only took me half an hour. That's a pretty good time for a lawn trimming, I'd say. Neville,
no.
come and look at your lawn. I'll pay you $5 for that one gouge I made.
$5.
I'll take you down to the pub. We can go have a pint. All right, mate. You right?
You're right.
We good, mate. Yeah, we good. Fill fuel 29 cents. Oh, don't I wish.
So where do you go and talk to Neville? Is it seriously Simi or no?
I think I just leave.
Well, that seems a little bit anticlimactic.
I'll give him a wave. I'll salute him with my hat as I leave. See you, Neville and Beatrice. I'll be back next week. Encryption must be... Yeah, it is. Oh, really?
Wow.
It's hanging 3 centimeters off the tailgate. You'll get pulled over. Given British council standards, I probably would. But I still have to do it. Got to throttle up, and I got to move 2 inches, and now I'm fine. You made me waste an extra... Let's see how much. It was $1.49 before. Now it's $1.50. You owe me a cent of fuel. Oh, it's not your fault. You owe me a cent of fuel, council members. Job well done.
What does it say?
Old Nook Cottage.
Maybe that's the
See, look at this. Look at this lovely work we did.
So anyway, that is a band that you should definitely check out. It's great, and
I will.
Well, to be fair, I've only checked out about 2 or 3 songs of theirs, but they're still great thus far. What I listened to, and they're not chuggy.
Well, we've gone back in time.
They're not chuggy. It has very much a kind of breakdown type of metal. Where
I just realized the cursor isn't on screen in the recording. I was noting the date over here. Oh. I'm still circling it with the cursor that the audience can't see.
But I mean the feeling is very drum and bass.
I'm all about that.
Driven.
Is it complex dynamic rhythms?
It is.
Where it's not just bashing. It's like they've got interesting staccato and pause and break and hit and all that. That's the stuff I love.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's why I like Disturbed, for example.
But back to the weird movie. We were talking about like the whole critic thing, and maybe we're not gonna have a lot of time for this because we probably but
it's therapy. Do we need to go a double?
But
I could use some therapy. If we need to stop in the middle, we'll stop in the middle. But I'm going to start the next one. But I don't think I have enough money to buy another one.
I wanted to get a little bit more not necessarily back into the political sphere, I suppose. But
oh boy!
But it's related to being a critic and about movies, and I think we need to talk about the utter atrocity that is what Marvel has just put out with She-Hulk.
Well, then you'll lead into what I was going to talk about next. Or not next, but like another thing I was going to talk about.
Which is what?
Well, no, I'll let you finish.
So DC...
Who are these people? Are these the Longbottoms?
DC...
Kingsburys. What's their names? Ethel and Horatio. Horatio Kingsbury.
Is that on the front of the thing because eventually
I think that's a DLC. That was one of the things we could have done before we started. It was like here's a new promotional package.
Like you have to run away from the T-Rex while
I hope not. I thought it was just like a Jurassic Park actual park. Like you can... I hope it's not that stupid, but maybe it is. All right, here we go. Oh,
it's the same house.
No, it's a slightly different house. It's very British, though. Don't you know the Kingsburys are proper, respectable folk? They compost. Look at a gazebo.
So DC, in uncharacteristic fashion, finally grew a clue and pulled the plug on the Batgirl franchise.
Well, they pulled it before it was even released because I think they realized.
Right.
Well, they should have known it back when the show was just
exactly.
atrocious.
And so what they're finding is that in the same way Jordan Peterson's talked about this, audiences aren't showing up for these things because they're not interested.
Well, because ultimately it's all mandate driven. We have to meet these quotas for the sake of whoever's calling the shots.
Well, of the agenda, and I think that's silly, but
because the thing is, we've said this for years, the people who care wouldn't have seen it anyways, and the people who would have seen it don't care.
And the reality is, it's not that I have a problem with, like, movies that have leading women roles. Like, that's not the problem to me.
See, I think it's absurd that you would even have to say that.
It's about the idea that if you create
it's about
a
the
space... Yeah, if you create a space that it doesn't make sense for
Horatio, did you forget your clippers?
They're mine now. They're my clippers.
You better lock them doors, Whitey. This is my hood now.
Why is it with anything else we're like, oh, somebody lost this, but with an umbrella you're like, I just got a new umbrella. No, but
what's that?
It's a dog dish.
Why is it upside down?
It's not. It's got filled with water.
No, that is very metallic. That does not look like water.
Well, another hole in their smoothing.
All right. Hold for 5 seconds. I have to emphasize it because you people need to know that it actually takes that long. All right, here we go, mate. All right, what are we at? We're at 9 centimeters. I need closer cutting.
Not in the middle. Because
start in the middle. Is that what you want me to do?
You're headed
in the middle. Fly it.
You're headed straight for the petunias.
Well, hang on. Let me just. There we go. I should probably do this with
anyway, but then Marvel apparently decided to
not. They didn't learn the lesson.
Yeah, and they ran. Well,
and here's why. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know who's the common link in all of this?
I do not know.
It's because Disney owns them, and Disney has the money to just tank
into things.
Yeah, just
stupid
tank
projects.
Yeah, they just go. Well, we're going to commit to the message. And we can just eat the loss.
Which is what happened with Buzz Lightyear.
Well, this was the thing I was going to mention, is because I think I was thinking about this because of... Okay, so remember, don't turn around excessively on grass. But be perfectly fine to chop up their gravel pavestones. It's a sad thing that I realized the other day, and I mean, I knew this, but it's one of those things where it really hit me. It's like they own all of the stuff I liked as a kid. Nowadays, and
they're ruining it.
Yeah, and I realized there was a progression of it because I'm not quite at the point. I'm very close to this point, but I'm not quite at the point yet. Because the She-Hulk thing, I saw people talking about it. I thought it looked stupid just because of the. It doesn't.
Because it's a stupid concept.
It doesn't even look very well done. A lot of people have been saying that it actually is poorly made.
Well, it's poorly written too. Did you see that monologue about the weird? And it was terrible. I'm just going, this hurts. It's so stupid.
I gave up the moment it was announced. I'm like, this is stupid. But because here's the thing, I gave up on the mainstream Disney stuff a fair while ago, just because I was like, yeah, no, not for me. I knew it, and then. The Marvel stuff took a little longer, and it was like, okay, after Endgame and Infinity War, I was like, okay, I'm not... Because when I say progression, this is what I mean. I was at that point relatively ambivalent. I'm like, you know what? I feel like they concluded the stories of the people I cared about. I'll watch the occasional thing if it interests me, but I'm no longer going to be like, oh, what's coming next?
Exactly.
Because, and again, we watched, to bring it back up, we watched the Spider-Man, the newest Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Which actually was decent, yeah.
And then we watched Doctor Strange, because, again, those were two characters I cared about. And Spider-Man was good, Doctor Strange wasn't. And it wasn't until...
Unfortunately, Doctor Strange suffered from what I was not expecting that it would suffer from, which is that they tried to overplay the whole leading lady thing, and it just didn't...
Well, yeah,
it didn't fit.
No, it didn't fit her. It didn't fit his... No, it didn't fit anything. But So it's like I wasn't at that point until this newest stuff that they've been releasing, and it wasn't exclusively that. It was something else that I had heard of, another thing they did that was stupid. Oh, I'm tracking... I didn't expect that it would be that picky. I'm tracking dirt into their cobblestones. I'm going to have to probably wash that now. I don't have a power washer. The Kingsburys are ruthless. I forget what the other thing was, but it's just I'm not. Here's the sad thing is I know it's coming for Star Wars because it already has.
It already has, yeah.
I'm already at the point now where I'm like, okay, I'm ambivalent, and the sad thing is, in all the other times I've been ambivalent, the total lack of care comes shortly after. Because honestly, it was like, okay, Infinity War and what's its head? Okay, yeah, fine. I'll watch new stuff they put out if it's about a person I'm interested in. And Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, okay, yeah. Now they're doing stupid stuff, and the PR about it is what makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because they then go, it's because you're all racist and or sexist and or something else. And so that's not. I'm just like, okay, fine. You've lost me now. And Star Wars is at the same point where it's like, okay, now I'm at a point where I'm only going to watch stuff that has vaguely interests me. But I just know that it's coming around the corner the day they start doing stupid stuff, because they probably will. Because, again, it's Disney.
Bro, and they have the... and life is a freaking nightmare.
Yeah, it's because it's like the new Boba Fett thing. The Boba Fett Season 2 is going to happen, and I'm not all that interested in because Season 1 looked really kind of dumb.
I watched the first couple episodes, which were actually promising, and then it apparently went downhill.
And then... But then, apparently the new Ahsoka Tano show has... And again, I would normally be skeptical, except for the fact that Dave Filoni is more heavily involved with it than he has been in most of the other stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a chance for that. But I'm just getting to that point where I'm like, yeah, it's going to soon get to the time where I actually swear off of it.
Yeah.
Because that's basically the point I'm at with Marvel. I'm like, all the stories I could care about, I've seen.
Well, and that's kind of
so I'm now actively going to avoid participating because I'm just not interested
in a less entertainment level related thing. That's kind of what happened with us with social media too. It's like, I'm done with this. It's less effective for me to use than it is to not use, so I'm done.
Yeah.
But I think the thing with the She-Hulk thing for me is it's actually not in the business' best interest, and that's what's blowing my mind is the business are literally putting more now emphasis and intention
not to get too conspiracy theory-ish, but there are theories as to why that is.
Okay, hit me with them.
Effectively, because there's several very large investment banks that have started doing some term, what they call it. Effectively, they have started to say any companies that push these sorts of social issues that they are in favor of, that's the question, is I don't know why they're in favor of. Oh crap, I gotta empty stuff. How do I do that? Pick up grass. I have to hold it, seriously? Wait, am I okay? They didn't animate it, but have I taken the back off and am I about to dump it? Okay. I would have thought with how ruthless they are with all the other animations, they would have made that obvious, but apparently I'm dumping stuff. What do I dump it in? Oh, I just have to walk near it? They're getting lenient on me. Not animating the dustbin, what? Pick up... I just dropped it in the middle. Why would I do that? That was really dumb. Okay, so I just have to walk within 10 feet of it, and then it'll go away. Alright, but it's effectively they're investing okay, so it's been... I probably haven't been paying attention. It's been full for a while. But they're investing heavily in companies that push these things and effectively making them immune to market criticism.
How?
They say, well, they're basically... The companies no longer have to make their own money because they'll be invested...
Well,
they'll be subsidized by these other corporations.
All that does is isolate and further, what is it called?
They don't care.
Pad the company from the actual public.
Exactly,
effect.
But that's the point. That's the public effect is the lack of money. Normally, you'd put out a bunch of crappy movies, people would stop going to see them, and then you go bankrupt. But if someone else is subsidizing everything you do, then it doesn't matter if you go, because you'll never go bankrupt. You'll always have their money.
Which is
You'll always
why
have someone else's
communism
money.
and socialism doesn't work.
I don't know that.
Just let capitalism have its day.
I'm not exactly sure that's quite.
Well,
that's
no,
not their aim.
No,
They're not
but I'm
attempting
just no. My point in that is when you try to
It still says it's full. How is it still full? I just emptied it. How do I actually? What does recover mean? Ah! What did I? TJ's got magic power. And it wants me to go over there now. What? I'm confused as to what just happened.
I don't think you ever put the grass in there.
I did.
It keeps lighting those up.
No, well, because I kept going back and picking up more, but they go away. I thought I had to push a button, but I don't. They don't. There's no button
F.
to push. It doesn't let me.
Okay.
It's telling me to go back over here. I think it's because I was full, which meant grass was getting dumped. But the problem is I can't tell if it's still full. What does recover mean? Is it going to do it again? What does that do? I'm so confused.
I just think
It's telling me... So I think that's how I'm recovering grass out of it, I guess, is I'm just doing this. This doesn't make sense.
No.
I don't like it either, but it's the only thing that appears to be making a difference.
That is making a difference. I think this is a pseudo false positive.
But it keeps telling me that it's full, and I don't see an option to unfull it. Like, look at that. It still says that the bag's full. And they don't tell me how to unfill it. They don't tell me how to dump it out, because I thought I'd be able to, like, pick it up. I should be able to just yank this off. Oh, you know what? There's a possibility that has just occurred to me.
But the thing that bothered me the most, because again, it's not even the fact that there is this, female in the role that bothers me, because in the comics there is a She-Hulk.
Yeah,
so I'm like, okay,
I wouldn't
whatever.
have read the comics.
I wouldn't have read the comics either, but it does exist. So I'm like, sure, whatever. If you want to make it, great. Just
I figured this was it.
stupid.
It is. Reverse the vehicle towards. Seriously, this wouldn't make a difference. Well, okay. I at least appreciate it doesn't make me get out to do it. Well, what kind of a strange
into the?
It's pneumatic powered.
But the then narrative that pushes that women have it harder because they deal with more than men do. I'm just like, no, I'm sorry.
I hate the Windows Command key button. It's the worst button on every computer. Woo! Resume. Goodness me, I meant to press Z.
But it really is. It's like, no, I am sorry. You can't. Different? Sure. If you want to argue that, let's talk. But
am I cutting yet? I wasn't.
But was that a?
Don't go where I think you're gonna go.
I thought maybe that was a commentary on our dialogue. Are we being cutting yet? No. Okay.
Oh, you were going.
Let's keep
nice
going.
try. That is not where you were gonna.
That
go.
is exactly where I was thinking you were going. What were you talking about?
I was thinking you were gonna make a much more edgy punk.
No pun intended.
Exactly. I think you know exactly where I'm thinking you were gonna go, and you're just dodging it to make me look suspicious.
But.
Well, here's what I'm about to fulfill a rule. Guess which one of the three it is.
Everything leads back to either Arcane or Jordan Peterson, or for me in the future it's going to be Peaky Blinders.
Really, you like it that much?
Oh,
there was
love
also
Peaky
the Alan
Blinders.
Watts joke.
Well, that's true too.
You got it in the first one. I'm going to talk about Arcane again. I'm going to bring back up that guy. Schnee,
He's that guy who
makes the video essays, but the Schnee guy. I hate calling him Schnee because it just sounds stupid, but it feels so.
Schnee, darn it, change your
it feels
name.
so. I destroyed a flower. I didn't even. The Kingsburys, man, they're strict. But he has a video. He has, in fact, 2 videos about how Arcane writes men and women effectively. And, of course, there are different reasons for both, because, as it turns out, men and women are actually different. But the thing he touches on in the women-specific video, or maybe it was the I think it was in the women's specific video. It makes it that the reason, because if you were to simply describe certain plot elements of it, it could come across as a very woke show.
Huh.
Because obviously it's like there's the pretty on the nose, not confirmed but highly implied same-sex relationship thing, which is probably going to happen. I didn't exactly get that vibe the first time I watched it, but I see why people do. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if they go there. But it's like there's several notable female main characters, but the thing is...
And they write them equally dynamically without being...
But here's the thing. The thing that he said, I think, encapsulates it well, is that there's this weird zero-sum theory with a lot of these writing people.
Right.
Where it's like a woman can only be powerful if it comes at the expense of a man's power.
Right.
And that's what a lot of Hollywood does, where it's like, in order to make the women powerful, we just make the men around them really weak and pathetic seeming. It's like, all that does... That just lowers everyone. It doesn't make the women seem powerful. It just makes them seem like the least crap of all these characters.
Well, yeah.
Because you can have... And again, this comes down... Because
Jordan Peterson's whole thing about beta males and the fact that literally that's been created in the last...
Yeah, it's not even true. It's not even a sociological fact. It's just things that people made up.
Right. Well, no, not even that beta male. He basically said that they were literally created... by the fact that women started saying, we want less of your manness.
Well, exactly. But it's just that... Oh, turn off the blades while I'm not cut. There you go. Alright, I can finally move on to the next patch. But I forget all the points because it's a fairly long video, and you should watch it anyways, just because you should watch everything he does. But... Because several points that he points out, it's like, okay, obviously Vi is the very quintessentially... She could have very easily have been the atomic blonde... basically female version of Jason Bourne.
Yeah. And
that's not very believable because it's just not. People don't really believe that, and the reason is that women generally don't do that. And you could argue that that's a social construct and that women could be, they're just inhibited by their... I'm like, no, I don't buy that. Because the fact of the matter is, it's like, okay, Vi's like this super powerful, tough, get it done kind of chick, but for the most part, she either is fighting using her pseudo-dad's crazy, like, mecha gauntlets, or she's fighting other women. So it's like, they sort of skirt the issue where they don't make it's like, oh, she could take on any man in a fight because she's just that tough. It's like, well, no, she's competing against other women.
Right.
And that's actually more...
Or stacking the deck in her favor in the same way that a woman can use a gun.
Exactly. And that's more fair because guess what? It means... Like, you've got other powerful women in the show.
Right, exactly.
It's like, Savika is another... It's like she's able to beat Savika. It's like, they're both women. It's not, oh, she has to take this power away from a man. It's like, no, guess what? Both of these women can have these jobs. They could both be tough enforcer-type chicks.
Right.
And you can also use, your technology in your favor. Right. Because, let's be fair, you probably would need to.
Well, it's an equalizer. That's the whole idea.
And it's like, that makes it seem more believable, and then it actually makes the character less of a cliche. It actually gives slightly more credence to the... It does it, because I've never actually saw Atomic Blonde, but it's the one that everyone brings up as having been really egregious for basically going, none of these things that this woman does would have been effective against anyone who knew how to fight.
Right.
Because they had to just go, well, in order to make her tough, we just have to make the women, or the men she beats, really terrible. And that's ultimately a cheap victory. It's like, no, make them be tough. Make it an actual fight that is hard. Right. And that you win nonetheless. Because
I'm sorry, it was cringy to hear that line about...
I never even watched the clip.
The cat calls that I have to put up with teaches me to... handle my anger more than you'll ever have to. I'm like, I'm sorry. Run that one by me again. He got shot at by the military.
Well, have you seen... the only thing I've seen about it is I forget his name. I've seen some of his clips, but he's the... I now realize I'm not going to be able to refer to him by any other things because I don't know his name. But it was just one guy who just be like, I'm sorry, you wanna run that by me again? I was hunted by the military. All my friends are dead. It's like, he lists, I was stranded on a planet for 2 years where I had to fight in the Coliseum. It's like, don't pull this here, because this is, of all the characters too, Hulk's been through some of the worst
Yeah,
stuff.
I was like, she's sitting there like talking about how like, oh, she's never given proper credit for like the credentials she has. It's like, I'm sorry, neither is freaking Bruce Banner. People go, hey, can you turn into a roid machine? I know you're a nuclear physicist.
Well, they even make that joke in
like,
Ragnarok. It's like, you want to know how many PhDs I have? 7.
It's so stupid. I'm like,
I refuse to even watch the clip because I don't need to be. I don't need to.
The point is,
myself,
I just think it's tragic because the actors that are playing, like, I'm sure that Mark Ruffalo's going, I don't think this is going to work, guys.
No,
but I mean,
he's very progressive.
Well, but everybody in Hollywood's progressive, and I think it's because they're brainwashed to have to be.
Well, that's the other thing Jordan Peterson talks about. Since we're going to fulfill the second law now, I have to now find a way to talk about Alan Watts eventually. But it's the idea that he thinks, you can't. Makes the comment that a lot of times university people will. It's a tough because it was if someone was asking for advice, basically saying, I'm in this liberal college. I don't feel like I can write exactly my opinions on these issues when I'm asked to. I think it was some kind of social science or political science or something. It's going. I know that I feel like that my professors will probably grade me harshly for this. So what should I do? And he's going. It's an honest question because Ben Shapiro was basically like, I just basically lied and made myself sound like I was a communist sympathizer because I knew I knew that I didn't think these things and I just needed to pass the class, and if the teacher was whacked, then whatever. But Jordan Peterson makes the point, he's going, that's a dangerous road to go down because you can't, because his whole big thing is about how writing and thinking are essentially the same process in the mind. So he's going, you can't write endlessly about this kind of propagandistic way of thinking without it having an effect on your actual opinions. Like, you'll think, I'm only saying this because I need to just get this grade. And he's going, well, you write several essays in defense of these things, and eventually you'll find yourself thinking the things that you're writing because they are the same. Your thinking is your writing. And that's that was basically his reasoning for why college turns people liberal so much of the time. It's because you can't do that repeatedly without it making you into that thing, even if it starts as a front. And Hollywood's the same, where they go, if I make a big fuss, I'll lose this gig, so I have to say it. But then, now I've already said it, so then I'll just keep saying it, and eventually it's no longer a face, it's just what you agree with. Right. And that's a sad thing.
Yep, it is.
Turns out Hollywood is gross. And it didn't always used to be, but that was a long time ago. It's been gross for a while, so it's not like that's recent, but it didn't always used to be that way.
It wasn't quite as overt. It used to be a little more like, hey, we're kind of sketchy, but we're behind the scenes. Now it's just like, yeah, we're sketchy. Who cares?
Well, that's ultimately what it is. I forget who it was that made the quote, but says that evil promotes tolerance until it is accepted, and then its silence is good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically, we just, we're not asking you to agree with us. We just, want you to let us be.
Is that an Ed Cole quote? Or?
No, it's an older, I think it was some Catholic priest or something, some famous person. But it's just that kind of thing. As you go, there's tolerance, and then there's... I'm not sure what I want to say, because I'm not sure exactly what the right word would be. Because...
there's tolerance, and then there's
but I feel like there's sort of passive tolerance and an active tolerance, which is like, okay, there's passive tolerance in that so long as you don't do it in front of me, and I don't know about it.
That's different than confirmed.
But that's different than I know that fine, I'll let you do this, just because that's basically then you're. If that's about the same thing as sanctioning it effectively.
Right, exactly.
It's one thing to say, I'm not going to actively hunt down people who do this. But, if they do it in the privacy of wherever they are and they don't make it a public thing, because that's where things started. It was like, all right, fine, whatever you...
Well, don't ask, don't tell,
but then now it's like, no, we now demand that you actively tolerate, that is to say, we need your, blessing effectively. And that's like, that's no longer tolerance. That's So it's, I don't know. Now we're moralizing. I need to find an Alan Watts quote to moralize. Problem is, he's not actually... You wouldn't use him to do that, because he doesn't tend to do that.
Did you know that Jung actually has some concepts that he discusses about Tao?
Yes.
I recently came across this.
Did you not? Alan Watts actually met Jung.
I did not know this.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
I swear I've shown you... Did I not send you the clip? That's the one... It's probably, if I had to send one thing that he's ever recorded that I would send to people, it would be this one, where it's basically about him talking about Carl Jung and the sort of various writings of his. He quotes him in a lot of letters and things, and then he talks about how he actually met him. And it's fascinating. Because they were both in that sphere. But it's interesting. I don't think we're going to finish this because this is a very large lawn, and I guess we've gone, well, not that much past the hour, but not more than typically past the hour. Should I wreck up the Kingsburys? Oi! Horatio! Who's going to plant your flowers now? Why is this what we always do in games once the consequences are lifted? I'm not going to play this anymore, and so I'm going to take you down with me. What would you...
The Kingsburys. Poor Kingsbury. What if it was like, yeah, my business is going bankrupt, so...
I'm just imagining... I want to see what the view is from one of those windows. They're having tea in the sitting room going, he seems a lovely chap out there, and then gets up to grab another kettle of tea, and then I'm just plowing through their bushes. Oh, I can't take down the hedges. They're too sturdy, but I'll clear this patch. Screw you and your whatever flowers these are. I'm coming for the hydrangeas next. Well, anyways, I'm going to track mud through your...
You should drive straight into their house.
Through their front door. Oh, come on. It can fit. There you go. Track mud through your gazebo. Can I break the gazebo? It's too sturdy. Oh, come on now. I know, whatever. Find me. Build a company. I'll see if I can get into their house. Any final closing remarks as I barrel towards the Kingsbury's front door?
As life barrels towards a slow social digression.
Oh, it's a sturdy house. It's made of brick. That's a sturdy bin. He's glued that to the floor. He's had problems.
He's had problems with wolves huffing and puffing and blowing his house down.
I was going to say the local hoodlums, but okay. He's just concreted it in there.
And what we've learned from this is that England is freaking such...
British people are freaking idiots. Oh, come on. I've beached it. That was an hour and a half. It wasn't